Hey everybody, Jeff from Coleus and Coleus. Okay, so this is the conundrum that I go through every year. I have all these beautiful Coleus all around my property. And again, if you follow along, you know I grow a lot of Coleus for the Bayhead Farmers Market. I sell about 90% of my plants, but I do keep plants all over my property, in my front, my back, huge planters, little planters, anything I don't sell, I keep. And of course I have my Coleus throughout my property separated for my Coleus seeds. Head over to Jim's Coleus or Coleus Seeds on eBay. Get your Coleus seeds while they last. I have 16 varieties. You'll receive 12. I rotate them around. Beautiful Coleus seeds, fresh from Coleus, featured on my YouTube channel here, fresh for this year. Coleus seeds, of course, last 5 years, but store them in a cool, dark closet, not in the fridge, not in the freezer. They last 5 years, but of course, like me, I never use Coleus seeds more than a year old. Why? Especially unless they're Coleus seeds I cannot get. Beautiful Coleus like this here. Anyway, with that said, each year I have to make a decision, and that all based on whether or not I can get the seeds. And for me, that's the factor. That's what I factor in on what my options are for the fall. You have seeds, you have overwintering pots, and you have cuttings. So, you know, why would you choose one over the other? And I'm going to go over that real quick, real easy, just if you're new to Coleus, and what to do if you're in a winter zone like New Jersey and you have all these beautiful plants and you hate to see them go. I always think of it this way. Yes, these are beautiful. I mean, I mean, this is my 12th year of doing it, and every year I do the same thing. I say goodbye. I enjoy these all over the spring, summer, into fall, up until the frost, and then I say goodbye. So it's an understanding I have, and the reason why I choose cuttings, as you may know if you're following along, seeds. I harvest seeds. I have seeds. I purchase some seeds online also from some Coleus wholesalers. I like to expand my Coleus repertoire. I take cuttings, and I do overwinter a couple of Coleus plants, but I don't do a lot of overwintering. But in general, my choice, I don't like to keep overwintered pots. That's my specific choice. So I prefer cuttings for Coleus that I cannot get seeds from. And you know where I'm going with this, folks, right? If you're following along, you know my main go-to for my cuttings that keeps my plants going for almost a decade now. Now, if you're a follower, you know what this is. This is my Lord Voldemort. Isn't this beautiful? Look at the size of this. I cut around 5 cuttings already. Stems, I already cut about 5 stems. I'm going to cut a few more. I'm going to show you. But isn't this gorgeous? Look at the size of this thing. It is just outstanding. And this, folks, if this is your first time watching my channel, I purchased a Lord Voldemort Coleus about probably over 10 years ago. I don't remember where I got it. I don't know if it was from seed or what, but it never goes to seed. I've tried. I've overloaded it with high phosphorus bloom booster. I've tried everything, and I've never, one year I got a seed stalk developed in late September, and that's too late in the season for it to develop. So what I do is every year I take about between 8 and 10 cuttings of this Lord Voldemort, and this plant is very hardy, and it makes a great candidate for cuttings to become rootings. So I take about 6 to 8, about 8 to 12 cuttings. It depends, but I do take a lot of cuttings from this Lord Voldemort, and this plant is the product of cuttings that I took last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before. And cuttings are an excellent alternative, an excellent way to make sure you're getting the same exact plant, because you're cutting it, you're rooting it, and then you're replanting it in the spring. 90% of the cuttings I take make it through the whole season. This is a very hardy plant. By experience, I know that these will last, but I do take a whole bunch just as a buffer in the event something happens. You know, things happen and it doesn't last. But this is a great alternative to keeping a Coleus that if you're in a wintered zone and you want to save a plant, but you don't have the room or the window or the equipment, cuttings, rootings are probably the best way to keep Coleus for the next season. And I'm going to show you how. Okay, so here, Christmas candies. Am I going to take a cutting? No, I'm not, because I have plenty of seeds. These are from seeds that I harvested last year. These are seeds that I've harvested this year that are going to be included in your Jim's Coleus seed order on eBay. So Christmas candy, I do not take cuttings because I have seeds. These beautiful empires, beautiful, beautiful plant. Jitters, gorgeous jitters, beautiful, beautiful plant. This surprise, this is sort of a cross pollination. It's a colossal marble. But these I don't take cuttings for because I have plenty of seeds. I have plenty of jitter seeds. Actually, I don't have as many jitter seeds as I used to, but empire seeds I have plenty, so I don't take empire cuttings. And I don't overwinter any empire plants. Guess what? Look at this, everybody. And I'm hoping that the weather stays warm. It's really hot and humid today. Yesterday, very warm and humid. It's like 87 degrees. Right now, it's about 100% humidity. We got rain, obviously. Yesterday, it was very humid. But look at this. I've been hitting this fish net with bloom booster, high phosphorus bloom booster, and look at that. I'm getting seed stalks. So, right now, I do not have fish nets listed in my Jim's Coleus seed listing. And depending on how the weather stays here in New Jersey and how far off the frost is, how warm it's going to be and so forth, you know, how many seeds I'm actually going to be able to harvest. This one here at least is getting some flowers, and it looks like I got about maybe a half a dozen seed stalks developing. So I may have fishnet stockings seeds listed, but that's going to be later, and I'll shoot out a short if I do have these included. Again, if I do get these, it's not going to be, you're not going to get a lot of seeds. You're not going to get the same amount of seeds as, say, the surprise mix or the Christmas candy or empires. I have an abundance of those seeds. So anyway, I'm pretty excited that I did get some seed stalks from this. Okay, so I have about 6 Lord Voldemort stems that I cut for rootings inside, but I want to cut about 3 more. Got some of these that are declining, you can see already. I try to use a good shears. I try to, when I'm making cutting, I like to choose a good, strong stem. Got some really nice, hardy stems here. And I'm not worried too much about it. There's 1 or 2 leaves that are like this on it. I'm really looking at the overall stem. And even if I do cut one right now and I decide I don't like it, it doesn't matter because I will get one. So here we're going to lose a lot of these leaves anyway. But there's one. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes what to do afterwards. Trying to get some really, these here is a beautiful one. Here it's got a lot of undergrowth on it. So I'm going to cut way down. I cut them really long for a reason, because I have this long, deep pot. So I cut them really long because when I plant these, the roots are all going to be here. I plant them really deep into the pot, and that's why this thing does so fantastic. So let me take this too. Let's see. Try to take them in the center where they're really strong, real straight, really, really straight, dark, healthy looking stems. All right, we're going to do a little trimming here as well. So here's 3, and let's go over by the potting station and trim these up and get these into the root jars.
A few moments later.
Okay, here we are. All right, there's a number of I've heard so many different things about what kind of water to use. Obviously, the best is rainwater initially, but eventually you're going to need to replace the water. And if you have any questions about your tap water, if you think your tap water is not good, it's high in chlorine, or if it's in calcium, or you think it's got a lot of chemical problems, then you can get distilled water if you want to use distilled water. I have had no problem using tap water. I have no, our tap water here on the Jersey coast is, it's fine. I don't boil my water. If I can use rainwater, I will, but as the winter goes, obviously that's a no, that's not an option. So I use my regular tap water and I add it to the vases. What can you use? Again, if you have a dollar store, Dollar General, Family Dollar, whatever, they sell these colorful jars, $1 a piece. You get a whole bunch of them. They're colorful. And another reason why I like them is because they're translucent, so you can keep an eye on the water level just at a glance. You don't have to worry about something like this. Now, this is really beautiful. It's artistic. It's a little bud vase. The only issue with this is you got to look. You got to take it down from wherever it is and look and see if there's water in there. Sometimes you can't really tell. So I'll use these primarily, but I do like these because they're decorative, so forth. And I have those 24-inch Anderson windows and my bay window. And there's another thing also, these allow light to go through. This doesn't allow the sunlight in, or rather, I haven't really noticed if Coleus cuttings do better in these translucent ones due to sunlight as opposed to these. I've had, for example, I had a fishnet cutting in a larger decorative vase like this, huge. It was a big vase that did fantastic the whole season. It lived fine. I kept up on the water, and it did fine. So anyway, here we go. It rained like crazy yesterday, so we're going to use the rainwater. I did wash these out. You don't really need to fill it to the top, but it's rainwater. Whoops. And I do give it a good fill. Here we go. It goes in there now. What do? You don't really need all this foliage. Now, you absolutely do not want any leaves in the water. That's not good. So we're gonna get rid of these sickly leaves, and that's a nice. I'm probably gonna give it a little bit of a cut, almost like to cut it like you do with fresh flowers. Cut it on an edge like this, and I'm not really gonna mess now. Another thing I'm gonna do is check underneath. Make sure you check underneath really, really well. Make sure there's no caterpillars, no insects hiding anywhere. The stems, the leaves, underneath the leaves, and you could tell if you possibly have them by if you have little holes, because that's what they do, or little chomps, little chew marks. So what I'm going to do with this one here is get rid of these two larger ones up top here, and we're going to keep these up top. So there we are. You don't necessarily have to do this, but that's another thing sometimes I do with these really heavy duty stems. Gently scrape that outside and it root. But I've had no, again, I'm basing what I'm doing here off of years of experience, and these root wonderfully. I've never had a problem with them, and I'd say 95% of them rooted. I rarely ever have a Lord Voldemort cutting fail. So it's real simple. I mean, I'm making it sound like rocket science. I don't mean to. So same thing. Got a lot of undergrowth here. Check it out. Make sure we have no insects under the bottom. Look really well, because some of these little critters, they're pretty crafty, and they blend in pretty well. Those little green caterpillar guys, they can really. And if you see something with a hole, like this one here's got a little hole in it, we're gonna send that on vacation. This one too. Down here, and we're going to do this one here too. Make sure you get it all, and we're going to cut it on an angle again, and really give it a good look over. Make sure and I'm talking stems here, main stem, leaves on the bottom. Make sure there's no insects. Overall, that Lord of Voldemort, there's a hole here, but we're not gonna. It looks good. Shake it a little bit if you want. Do a dance. Okay. And here we go. Oh, look at that. This is a monster now. This is a triple actually. So we're gonna keep this one anyway. So this is gonna be a fantastic cutting. All right. Let's get rid of that. Let's see here. Definitely want to get rid of that. There's a couple holes. That's torn. I'm getting all this on camera, folks. Again, my video assistant's in Florence, Italy right now. I talked to him. He went out with a bunch of his co-workers that in the restaurant he worked at in Florence, Italy yesterday. 6 hours ahead over there, so I'm doing this on my own here. No video assistance. So there we are. That's a nice rooting. There we go, and then we'll again, you don't really have to do this, but now I'm going to actually put this one into a higher, into one of those, only because it is a larger rooting. Actually, I don't like the looks of this one here. We're going to cut that. And again, you don't have to make your rootings this tall. If you're just going to pot a few of them, smaller pots, like something like this, say, a 4-inch or 6-inch nursery, you're not going to want a rooting this tall. You can get a smaller one. I'm going to actually cut one just to show you now. Okay, all right, so here, example. Here's a smaller one. So again, I cut my rootings, my Lord Voldemort rootings, tall, long, because I'm putting them down into a very deep, long, elongated pot, which I do every year. So you might be saying, hey Jim, what's with all the drama here? Why don't you just cut a bunch of smaller rootings? Well, that's the reason why. But here you go. Here's a smaller. This would be your standard rooting. This would be what I would consider, or most people would consider, a standard rooting. As I get menaced by a bee. so you could do that also. And also, a lot of people don't realize this. You can actually, another option is you can actually plant your Coleus stem right into moist soil. Water, and keep it, and it will root, and there you go. A lot of people do that. That's another option, but that's if you have the room. I don't like to keep overwintered Coleus in my house in abundance. I had that indoor greenhouse, and yes, I can cut a whole bunch of these. I don't want to have to take care of plants through the fall and winter, soil, trimming, insect control, even indoors. I don't want to do that. I much prefer the rootings and just a handful, a very small, I'm talking 2 or 3 tops, overwintered Coleus in pots with soil. But if you do this, make sure the soil is pre-moistened well, not saturated, but wet. And when you put that stem in there, make sure it's moist. It stays moist so the roots can develop into the moist soil. It's not much different than water. It's soil. Lots of light and some indoor general purpose plant food, and that should do it. Grow lights, LED grow lights. I'll put some in the description of this video, like LED grow lights, and maybe those small greenhouses. Maybe you have a little area like I do. I'll show you. And get yourself a little indoor greenhouse. If you want to cut 20 or so, or 10 Coleus, you can do that. And this applies to any Coleus variety. You can do the same thing. Cut it, put it in the moist soil. But again, check your soil, make sure there's no insects, and then you can do it that way. But me, I like to go the route of the cuttings, the wet cuttings. Okay, just for example, these are the 3. If you're new to my channel, these are 3 jalousie windows, port windows in my living room, and they're perfect for the rooting. So I have I primarily put my Lord Voldemorts in. I got a fishnet up here, but the rest are Lord Voldemorts, and I have a bay window, which I keep some of my overwintered and the majority of the other cuttings that I choose. I highly recommend these. Again, I have a video on it. These are veil fly insect. They have the little that blue light. I don't know if it really shows up. It attracts insects. You can get black or white, and they do work, as you can see. So I highly recommend these if you have indoor plants. They really are effective, especially at night when you go to bed. It's dark. Even in the daytime, they get attracted to this light, and it really keeps them under control. If you have kind of insect problem, you have indoor plants, it's inevitable you're going to get those little flying gnats. When you first start the video, you'll see shopping on the bottom right or left. Just click on that, and you can actually purchase the item. Here's an indoor greenhouse. This is a new one. It's not on, but this is a new one I bought. It's pretty sturdy, and it has multiple shelves. And what I like about it, it has built-in LED grow lights. So every shelf has grow lights, and it did pretty well for me this year. So right now I'm using it to store my seeds. So again, head over to Jim's Holiest of Coleus Seeds on eBay. Get your seeds. I'll give you 12 varieties plus a free gift. You'll get plenty of seeds. Really beautiful, colorful Coleus. Some of my favorites. You will not be disappointed. You'll get so many beautiful Coleus. A lot of them unusual, and your property will look so beautiful, whether you plant them directly in the ground or make pots, planters, hanging baskets. It's so easy. And I show you, I have years of videos. It's not rocket science. Everybody has a green thumb. You just have to put a little effort into it. And one last note before we go. When you do overwinter your Coleus and even the rootings, what happens over time? Every day, the sun, you get less and less sunlight, and your Coleus senses that, and it will become less vibrant. The leaves will almost feel like they're getting thinner. You're going to lose some leaves. You may even lose your plant. I've had plenty of plants die on me. It's not something you're doing wrong. It's the plant. Don't get discouraged. But expect, as the fall and winter progress, expect your Coleus to kind of look like you feel in winter. You know, you're like, sun, you get up in the morning, it's dark. You go to work, you get home, it's dark. That's how the Coleus feels. So if you have an area, you can supplement it with green light, with the LED grow lights, which are very safe. Again, I'll have them in this description, in the link, the shopping link. I'll have safe, energy efficient grow lights that you can keep on your overwintered plants for an additional 4 or 5 hours. Have them go off. They come with timers. Have them go off at 10 o'clock before you go to bed. And your Coleus will do much better. And you can give them a little bit of indoor fertilizer. I don't over-fertilize during overwintering because they're sort of in a hibernation. You're not trying to promote growth. Just give them a really, usually indoor, general purpose plant food. I'll have a link in the shopping for that as well. Give that, whether it's drops, you add it into your water, is enough to keep it healthy and make it through the stresses of the fall and winter. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed that. Hope this helps you. I think it's pretty clear on your different options on keeping Coleus. If you're in a frost zone like New Jersey, your different options and the reasons why I choose one over the other, and it all depends on you, your specific lifestyle, where you live, how much light you have, whatever your choice is. You can try one of the two. Enjoy. I miss my Darth Vader Coleus. I'm gonna get some next year. I didn't grow any this year, except for one I grew in my aero garden, and it grew into a big planter, and I sold it. You never get seeds from it. Very difficult. I did get some seeds last year, but they weren't, very few of them germinated. I tried to sell some to people. I really didn't want to sell them because they weren't, there was only a handful that were mature. So, but anyway, I'm going to get some Darth Vader Coleus from Rosie Dawn, I think, next year. I'll get a few because I miss having my Darth Vader Coleus. So I hope you enjoyed this video on your fall and winter Coleus options, cuttings, wet soil, wet rootings, seeds, or what have you. That's the beauty. And again, the beauty of the cuttings is you can get an exact clone of your original plant. So that's why I like using these wet cutting. And I have ideal. I have of course the ideal windows for keeping cutting. So thanks for watching Jim's Holiest Coleus. I'm going to finish my coffee and get started on my day. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Head over to Jim's Holiest Coleus Seeds. Get your Coleus seeds now while they last. And we can start growing them next year. And again, thanks for watching Jim's Holiest Coleus. Take care, everybody.